I know. Well, you know what? We'll just have to keep doing, once in a while we'll do like a vegan related episode maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think especially, well, I mean, veganism is always topical, to be honest, but I think especially with what's going on, I mean, have you noticed, I mean, a lot of the stuff that's going on with COVID-19, and talking about, the wet markets and everything else, a lot of these, viruses and pandemics, they're coming from animals, right? So, and our consumption of animals.
Exactly.
So they're causing a lot of issues.
It is very topical at the moment. Yeah, even with this COVID-19, even though the media, I'm sure, doesn't want to fully admit it. But it is true that because of the conditions in which, we can point to China all we want and the wet markets. But at the end of the day, factory farming, is it really that much better? Not really. We just don't see it as openly as a wet market.
Exactly. And I think, well, you have to look back too at some of the other viruses and kind of mini pandemics, if you will, that have happened. And I know one of them wasn't it swine flu or something that originated in the States? And that was from pig farming. From pigs. So again, if we didn't consume those animals and we didn't have these factory farms, a lot of these crossovers, because they said basically the crossover between animals and people, this is where, where there's a lot of interaction. This is where these viruses can mutate and cross species, right? So if we're farming and factory farming in these conditions with tons and tons of animals, the chances of the viruses jumping to a human and mutating in those kind of circumstances is quite high. So we're kind of almost like not asking for it, but in a way, like
we're 100% asking for it because people knew. That's the thing. It's like, this isn't something that happened out of the blue. People that actually, like we discussed before, people that actually study this, contagious infectious diseases, they knew that this was all very
100%.
Yeah. So we are pretty much asking for it. And what I'm afraid of is we're just going to go back when this is over. We're going to go back and it's going to be business as usual. What do you think, Daniel?
Unfortunately, I do have to agree with you on that point. I think, because the thing is, I think we as and I think I'm just as bad as everyone else for this. When something bad happens, like a pandemic or whatever else, or something in my life, I'm just using different examples, but we're a really quick species to forget about it. Do you know what I mean? Like it happened in the past and think, oh, maybe it's not going to happen again. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're really quick to kind of move on and like try to continue. And I feel like, what am I trying to say? I just think the world is going to try to get back to exactly where it was before. Well,
hopefully not. I'm hoping that we can learn a little something from this. And did you watch that video I sent you with Bill Maher?
You didn't send me a video with Bill Maher.
Yes, I did. You just didn't watch it. Do you even know who Bill Maher is?
No. I swear you did not send me a video with Bill Maher.
I sent it to you 100%.
Did you? What was the video about?
Let me check my WhatsApp.
I don't think you did, Rose.
I did. Well, you don't even know who Bill Maher is. How do you know if I sent it to you, Daniel?
Because I would know if you sent it to me. I would know who he is.
But you don't know who Bill Maher is. Let me check. I swear. I think I sent it in the our chat with Christelle.
Oh, shoot. I might not have seen it then.
Let's see.
Rose.
Or maybe I didn't send it.
Rose trying to prove me wrong again. Oh, I really hope she didn't send it now, guys. Honestly. Just to be like, yes. 1 point. Let me check. Me.
Well, we talk a lot. I'm trying to scroll here,
Good luck. Literally, like it's gonna be
like
there's
so much conversation happening.
Can you type in the little box at the top where you can search for things?
Yeah, but I don't know what I wrote because I shared the. Oh, look, I did send it.
Let me see.
America's wet markets, real time.
Which chat did you send it to, Rose?
To our personal chat, so you have literally no excuse. I sent it right there.
Can you show me in the Skype as well so I can see
evidence? It's right there, and it's in that huge YouTube. It's not even just a link. It has that huge YouTube thing. Okay, and Daniel just chose to ignore it. Thanks, Daniel. Love it. See, I'm right. Ha! As always, I am right. So anyways, I sent you a video. It's called New Rule, America's Wet Markets, Real Time with Bill Maher. It even says his name. Great, Daniel. Look at that face of defeat.
Oh, God.
Love it. It's my favorite face to look at. Anyways, so Bill Maher is like I don't know what he is. He has a show. It's called Real Time with Big Mar. Big Mar, Bill Maher.
I was going to say, okay, he has a nickname.
No, and basically he's like kind of like a political commentator. I guess that's how you would describe it.
Yeah.
And he's quite blunt in his speech. And I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but he did this really good segment, and it's called America's Wet Markets. And he basically talks about all the shit we're doing to animals and how, how like basically we asked for it essentially. Like we're doing all this like crazy shit with animals, and then we expect nothing bad to happen. And he's saying, what we're doing now, we're all spreading out, we're all, socially isolating, we're all trying to maintain lower stress levels. And he's saying, well, think about a condition in a factory farm. It's literally, no wonder we get viruses from factory farms, because all of those animals are extremely stressed out. They're confined in tiny, tiny spaces. They're all right next to each other. So of course it's, you're going to create so many, potential problems from that. And then he also talks about antibiotics as well.
That makes so much sense, because if you look at even our current situation, like you said, the recommendation, and I apologize for not watching that, Rose. I'm sorry. Rose looks like she's pretty angry over there now. So
it's not the first time I'm angry with Daniels.
I'll be hearing about this later.
I'll send it to you again, Daniel. I'll send you a brand new fresh link.
No, I can find it in the chat. I'll watch it. I don't know.
No, I'll send it to you again. I don't trust you to find it, Daniel. So Grandpa Daniel has problems with technology.
I do not. Okay. Anyway, but what I was going to say is it makes sense. Like if you think about it, we as a species of human, it's like, okay, well, if there's a virus or a pandemic and we're trying to stop the spread of it, mitigate the amount of, deaths and everything else, what do? We socially isolate, we distance from one another. And you're right, those are just not the conditions that are in factory farms. So it's like a cesspool for germs, bacteria, viruses. And if one of the animals does get a virus, because they're not socially distanced, it's going to just spread like wildfire. You know what I mean? It's like there's not going to be, it could wipe out an entire factory farm or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,